There we are. Happy Monday morning. We have mat class this morning, and we'll be trying to do a nice balanced core workout. You want to grab any props that are handy for you. Something between the knees. It could be blocks. It could be a tennis ball, a small ball, a rolled up towel, whatever. And weights. And of course, all of the suggested props are simply suggestions. Right? If that doesn't work as well for you as intended, then you don't have to use them. All right, maybe something for under your head, a little bit of a blanket or a pillow, and then we'll lie down and get going with our breath work. I'll give you guys just a chance to get organized. As you lie down, you may stretch out long, or you can keep your knees bent. Right, make the position on the ground that's comfortable for you. So you don't want any pull on the hips or the low back that feels bad. Nothing that pushes the shoulders into the neck or makes your neck feel weird. And then relax into the position with the relaxation into the breath. The only pattern that I want you to start with is simply the inhale through the nose and the exhale through the mouth. Let your breathing come to a very steady kind of rhythm. Slowly in, slowly out, feeling the weight of the breath as a gentle grounding force, as an alignment cue as it flows in and out, and as a means to consciously engage with your core muscles. Of course, your core muscles are really the engine of your breath. And we're talking about transversus, that long muscle, that tall muscle that wraps all the way around under the layers of all the other muscle and really supports your internal organs as well as your spine. Bottom boundary of the core, that's your pelvic floor muscles. And also become aware of the top boundary of your core container, that's your respiratory diaphragm. Now, if you're thinking of top to bottom or lengthwise kind of proposition, you want to feel that on the inhale, the top and bottom of the core, so the respiratory diaphragm and pelvic floor, move downward just a little bit. And indeed, your breath presses your organs downward toward the pelvis as you inhale. As you exhale, feel pelvic floor and respiratory diaphragm release upward a little bit. And of course, all your insides do the same thing. And it's not just imagery, it's for real. On the inhale, everything drops a couple of inches toward the base of the pelvis. You remain connected in pelvic floor muscles. And then as you exhale from that connection at the base of pelvic floor, everything floats upward a little bit. And so kind of like water lapping in and out at the edge of a shore, the breath moves down toward the pelvis on inhale and back up toward the crown on exhale. Let's have about a half minute more, just focusing on the feeling of the breath and reminding ourselves what we know about the breathing. One more inhale and exhale. And then breathe in. When the lungs are full, pause. Kegel, so get a very specific feeling in pelvic floor muscles and keep it and feel like as you exhale, you get a zipping up internally, the sides of the waist growing longer and firmer underneath the surface of all the other muscles and skin. Do that 2 more times. Inhale, feel the breath moving down into the bottoms of the side ribs, the base of pelvic floor. And then exhale, zipping up or lifting up like an elevator rising from pelvic floor through the height of transversus, sides of the waist firming, respiratory diaphragm softening. Do that 1 or 2 more times, not so many words now. And one more. Then we continue to keep our focus in the muscles that are close to the core. So now we're going to use our lower abdominal muscles to imprint and release. Those muscles overlay the deepest layers of transversus. So as you exhale, you feel the core muscles, transversus, pelvic floor. And then as you imprint, you feel the contraction over the surface of your low belly that pulls your belly towards your spine and your low back toward the mat. Stay here and inhale fully. On your next exhale, release slowly, preserving core layers underneath as you allow the superficial layers to release into length. Prepare for imprint with an inhale. Kegel, begin your exhale with core activation and then move into your imprint as you continue through the end of the exhale breath. Holding imprint, not afraid to inhale, take the breath all the way down through the back of the pelvis. And then exhale, returning to neutral, still supported by core. Please do this twice more. Preparing on your inhale. And then on your exhale, creating core tone and an imprinted low back. Release on your next exhale. And as you do your final repetition, imprinting and releasing both on exhale breath, feel an easing in the hips. So the pelvis rolls easily through the axis of the hips as it moves harmoniously with the flexion and then release of the spine. Once you've returned to neutral, pause and straighten one leg down the mat. And I'm watching you guys in my monitors, so no need to rush or push. I'll see when you've got one leg down long, or I hope I'll see. We're going to do a quick hip release, and by quick I mean not too many repetitions. We still want to work slowly, consciously with the breath. Holding a neutral spine, we start in the inward direction with the bent knee, inhaling to drop the knee inward across toward the other leg, and then slide the leg down. Turn outward on the exhale, bend the knee and pull the heel up under your hip, and do 2 more in the inward direction. Continuing to work into that more relaxed state in the hip joints. We do 3 rotations beginning in this inward direction. And when you've done the 3, continue with the same leg in the outward direction. Inhale, drop the leg away from the midline, slide it down. Exhale, roll inward and draw the heel back up. And this has been a pretty standard Pilates warm-up so far. When you've done the last one, briefly bend both knees. Check your posture and then slide the other leg long. Neutral spine. On your next inhale, bent knee drops inward and slides down. On the exhale, it rolls externally and pulls back up. 3 total, making the most of every repetition in terms of ease in the hip, awareness of breath and posture. Good, you guys. When you've done your 3, begin in the opposite direction. Knee drops out to the side on inhale. It slides right down, stretching long through the hip before rolling inward and drawing up. After the last one, you'll bend both knees again. And we'll continue with our more or less classic style warm-up. Roll over onto your side and prepare for spinal rotation. This is a position where the hips and the knees are stacked, the shoulders are stacked, the arms are in front of you. We want to stabilize from the pelvis down through the length of the legs into the feet and open into twist across the spine. So preparing for that, we'll exhale in place, set the tone of core, squeeze the inner thighs together. And then when you're ready for twist, on the inhale, turn the head upward as you lift the arm. Continue twisting open, exhaling as you spread across the chest and shoulders, turning through the waist without disturbing the pelvis or the legs. Hold that open twist and inhale. With your Kegel, exhale, initiate from core and lower belly muscles as you return from twist. We do 3 here as well. So continuing with the next one. As you open into twist, unshrug the shoulders, or at least kind of check in with the chest and the neck. Have a full breath in, taking it all the way down into the pelvis before returning on exhale. Do 1 more, please. Very good. And then we continue on the other side. And in our warm-up, we're really striving to put all the movements that our spine can make into the body, right? When you're lying in your side lying position, everything's stacked up. You have your exhale that stabilizes. And then inhale, lift the top arm, turn the head. As you exhale and open into rotation through the new side, consider that exhale also should give you length. So you get a feeling of stretch, the crown of the head reaching away from the floor of the pelvis. Return on exhale as well. And that core space, that lengthwise stretch should give you greater ease of rotation and maybe even greater depth of rotation. Inner thighs without outer hips pinching. Do your last repetition and try and isolate that inner thigh connection. And when you've returned, come to hands and knees. Now, I understand that some of you might have sore knees, so put a blanket underneath. You want to make your wrists comfortable. We're simply going to do cat and cow, so we get a little bit of extension as well as some flexion. And if that's not working for you, you can sit up and do a version of cat and cow where you're not on your knees, but you're still flexing and it's extending the spine. Yeah. So pick where you need to work this morning. Start in a neutral position, whether you're sitting on your hips or on your hands and knees. Inhale here, open the chest. And then starting with the low spine, exhale, begin to round a vertebra at a time, creating your spooked cat curve all the way through the top of the shoulders, back of the neck. Inhale here. Now starting with the pelvis again, exhale, return through neutral. And on your inhale, extend upper chest, squeezing the muscles at the bottom of the shoulder blades, and then releasing. 2 more times through the whole cycle. Exhaling to round, feeling your abdominal muscles from low to high, right? Low belly to bottom ribs, drawing in, hold the flexion, inhale, and then exhale, hold your core tone as you return through neutral, and inhale into extension. 1 more, please. Pay attention to the details. That's it. Release the neck. So don't let the neck hang on tight to the shoulders or vice versa. All right, they have a relationship to each other, but they're not gripping onto each other. Good. When you've returned to neutral, lie on your back. We'll do hip rolls next. So you want a real minimum underneath your head, maybe nothing at all. Using a block or a ball or something between the knees or the ankles. Knees are bent, and we're in our standard neutral position. Move your shoulders around a little bit here before we get into the larger spinal movement. You might circle them. As your head rests back on the mat, you can turn it left and right, or even make little circles. Don't make yourself dizzy. And then rest. Okay, head, arms, all are soft into the mat as we begin to use the rest of the body here. Find your feet, prepare for hip rolls with an inhale. And on your exhale, your first action is to make imprint, rolling the hips, flattening or flexing the low back. Take another breath and then exhale. As you continue to flex the spine, each vertebra from the tail upward lifts one at a time in sequence until you're resting on your shoulders as well as on your feet. No pressure into the neck or the head. Inhale, Kegel, exhale, and roll down. I hope you know by now that the exhale and the Kegel sort of co-imply core connection. Prepare for the next one. And exhale, roll up. Core is a great integrating force. Connects the pelvis to the ribs and supports areas above and below. Beautiful. Rolling back down on exhale as well. With the last one, I want you to make a point of feeling not only the motion of the pelvis through the thighs via the hips, but the ribs through the arm bones via the shoulders. Same thing on the way down. Supple in the ribs, stable but relaxed in the shoulders and the head. When you've returned to neutral at the bottom, you're welcome to keep the block or to ditch it. And go ahead and grab your weights. We'll do some arm reaches here. We start with a kind of standard arm reaches. That is, we're going to reach them directly back. Elbows are straight. And your shoulders are in that just right spot in the middle, not too far forward, not too far back, certainly not up in your neck, but don't overly depress them, right? Inhale here, Kegel, exhale, and reach the arms back. We're gonna hold the reach here as we inhale. Kegel, exhale, find the sequence of breath, connection, and then the return of the arms as you finish the breath out. Moving only on the exhale, please continue through 3 more repetitions. And of course, we'll do more work later, specifically for arms. A lot of this is about bringing awareness to the shoulder joints, feeling stability without restriction. We're into our last 1 or 2 repetitions. Feel the connection of the shoulders to the core muscles via the ribs, via the top of your transversus, all the way down deep into the pelvis. And when you've returned the arms forward of the shoulders, or that is vertical in space, we'll do an open and close action as well. This we take a 2-breath pattern. On your inhale, spread across the chest, feel the upper ribs opening. And on your exhale, bring the arms forward or return to where you started from. Please do 4 more. Yes. Breath in and breath out, all grounded through pelvic floor connection, all engaging with core muscles. When you've done your last one, bring your arms down by your sides. All right, we've warmed up our shoulders, our hips, our flexion, our extension. Now we're going to start some of the exercises designed to specifically strengthen different muscle groups. So we begin with ab prep. It's a forward flexion of the upper spine. So think from the bottom of the ribs on up. You can have the block between the knees or the feet. Then we start in a neutral position. The low spine will remain neutral. And you have the choice of putting your hands behind your head or reaching your arms along your sides. Once you're ready to begin, we'll inhale, nod the chin to the chest, Kegel. Squeeze the block if you're using it, and exhale, bending forward at the bottom of the ribs. Hold the forward bend, inhale, head and shoulders lifted from the mat, Kegel. Exhale, and lower. We'll continue through a set of 6, nodding on the inhale, and exhale, bending forward. Hold at the top, inhale, exhale, and lower. So it might seem like a silly comment, but when you're bending your spine, use the spinal flexors, right? So you can push your head forward with your hands or with your neck or anything from the back of the body, but it's really much more efficient and comfortable to lift the upper body forward into flexion by contracting the muscles at the bottom of the ribs, right? Your external obliques contracting inward toward the midline and downward toward the pelvis. Right, strong and supple in your midsection. Got a couple more to do, so practicing this those last couple of times. Can you coordinate the connection of core with the contraction of your abdominal muscles? When you've returned from the last one, stretch your legs out long. Right, and I'll see that in the monitor. Good, you guys. So we're going to ditch the block and we're going to approach extension now. So we roll over onto the belly in lying in a prone position. When you lie in prone position, we'll have breaststroke number 1 arms, which is essentially elbows bent and forearms on the mat, palms flat to the mat up near your shoulders, probably a little higher, a little wider. And just some note about positioning the legs and the pelvis. You want the bottom of your pelvis, your pubic bones, to drop gently forward into ground, right? Don't bear down and be uncomfortable, but don't let the bottom of the pelvis float up. Use your glutes, your low abs, stretch your legs long. And as you draw the inner thighs together, feel the thigh muscles, quads in front and hamstrings in back, helping to form a strong support through the knees. Point your toes. Feet stay on the ground. You inhale here, exhale, Kegel, core, and begin to reach the top of your chest forward, releasing through the neck as you contract the bottom of the shoulder blades inward toward the midline and downward toward the pelvis. Contracting the back muscles in this way will extend your spine. Inhale, Kegel, exhale, and release. So pretty much the mirror image of ab prep, just in the opposite direction. Inhale, Kegel, core is the same, get that. And then as you exhale, bottom of the shoulder blades contract inward toward the midline and slide downward toward the pelvis. Allow that action to stretch the top of the chest and ribs forward and upward, spreading wide, and then exhale, lower. Please do this twice more. Try not to just pop up, but to feel like it's a continuous pull into stretch. And when you've done your last one, bring your arms along your sides. Good, you guys. Nice with the breath work. So I think we've all got our arms along our sides. Allow the shoulders on purpose to kind of slump forward, right? Let all of the tension go from the shoulder blades, let all of the tension melt from the chest and the jawline. The next extension we do is dart or breaststroke prep number 2. The arms are long by the sides. And the first thing we do is correct the shoulders, inhaling as we open the chest and spread across the collarbones, picking up the arms, palms facing inward. Now connected through the bottom of the shoulder blades. Exhale, slide those shoulder blades inward and downward and float. So the chest hovers 2 or 3 inches above the surface of the mat. Nice and light through the upper body. Inhale, Kegel, exhale, and lower down. We want to stay grounded and stretched and long through the legs. Inhale, place the shoulders and arms. And then as you exhale, reach forward and upward through the breastbone, floating easily. And then exhale, gently lowering. 2 more of these, please. Placing the shoulders, feel the work there. As you exhale and rise into hover, press the tops of the toes down, stretch behind your knees, pubic bones gently grounded. All right, so the legs, really assist the work of the core and the lower abs in stabilizing the lower body. Beautiful. Once you've exhaled and lowered, please sit back into shell stretch. Shell stretch, always. You can do this sitting on your heels or sitting on your hips, right? The point is a rounding of the spine. So not only relaxing between the shoulder blades, but maybe adding a little bit more stretch, just posturally. And then feeling additional stretch from the breath. As you inhale, allow that breath to spread and expand the spaces between the ribs. And as you exhale, the spaces soften. So we gain strength, but remain elastic. One more breath in. And on your exhale, please roll up, stacking the spine from bottom to top. And turn around and lie onto your backs, please. We'll return to flexion just for a little bit here. And we'll be working in tabletop. Okay. On your back with your knees bent, have at least one round of breath in this neutral posture that connects you mindfully with your core. Use your next exhale to make your best imprint of the morning. So that's an imprint supported on the deep layers with core. With your length, you feel the reach and the security of that long flexed low back. Feel the back of your body, its weight dropping toward the mat. And on your next exhale breath, come up onto the tips of your toes. And that, instead of adding tension to the hips or the shoulders, should allow more of your weight to drop back into the lower part of the spine, the back of the pelvis, into your literal center. We're up on our toes. Now the only thing left to do is lift one foot up, exhale, and then the other. So some choices in tabletop. You can squeeze the legs together just with the inner thighs, or you can put a block or a spacer between the knees if that's more healthy for your hips. When you've got that, I'd like you to place your hands under the back of your head, and we'll do a second set of ab prep, but this time we'll add some pulses to it. All right, so we're in our imprint. We've got our tabletop. We've got hands behind the head. On your inhale breath, it's the same sequence. Nod the chin downward. And then as you exhale, bend forward. Once you're up, take a moment here, and maybe on the next exhale, as you gain more length through the spine, you might be able to flex more deeply through the bottom of the ribs. On your inhale breath, lower the upper body about halfway down, stretching the ribs, but not releasing the work of the abs. Then Kegel, exhale, and bend forward again. Inhale, lower halfway down. Kegel, exhale, and bend forward again. 3 more of these, please. So it's not like we're rushing, but it is definitely more in the style of a pulse. Each repetition adds a little bit more depth to the ab connection as well as to the core connection. When you've come up the last time, hold at the top. Maybe it's your next one. Inhale here, take the breath all the way down into the back of the pelvis. Don't let it get stuck in your upper back or neck. And then exhale, release your head back to the mat. Just briefly hug your knees in, and you can move your legs around a little bit if you like. So in a moment, we're going to return to tabletop and of course be imprinted, and we'll do arm circles. Right? We'll do arm circles in both directions. Have another breath out and return to center. In that centered position, have another breath out, reinforce your imprint, and place your legs into tabletop. Extend your arms forward to the ceiling and exhale there. On your inhale, reach the arms back. And on your exhale, sweep wide, arms coming down along the floor close to your hips. Inhaling, reaching back. Great, let's do 4 of these in this direction. Good. Feel movement, adding some warmth and some ease to the shoulders. Bring your arms down by your sides one more time, and we'll reverse the motion from there. On your inhale breath, now circle wide along the floor until the arms are mostly overhead, and exhale, pull them over from the top. We do 4 of these too. Keep a steady position through the bottom of the ribs and the pelvis, back of the pelvis, stretching the spine long between those points. When you've done the last one, put your arms down by your sides. With your arms down by your sides, press your fingertips into the floor and open the top of the chest. Keeping the top of the chest open, float your fingertips up from the floor and nod your chin downward. Focusing on low belly, inner thighs and pelvic floor, exhale, and begin to bend forward through the bottom of the ribs. Maybe taking an extra exhale to come up as high as you can come up. Keep the tail firmly down. Begin the 100 here, please. Pulse the arms 5 times as you inhale in 5 increments. Same with the exhale. 10 sets of 10. We got it. Squeeze knees without activating outer hips. Inhale without lifting the bottom of the ribs away from ground. Gently opening upper ribs as they bend forward. That's it, you guys. Look strong. When you're ready to finish, you pause the pulsing of the arms, inhale smoothly. And on a long, slow exhale, lower yourself to the mat. Now your choice. You can hug the knees in again and just do little movements that feel good, maybe stretching the legs. You can stretch one at a time. Or you can put the feet one at a time on the floor and stretch out long for a moment. We'll come to sitting next. And so you just do anything you need to do that will help to make sitting comfortable. You'll be sitting either on the floor or on the floor on a pillow or maybe even on a chair. So no longer constrained by the floor under your spine. Right. We'll do half rollback as we often do at this point. Specifically targeting the lower spine flexion wise, but feeling ideally how the core continues to integrate the weight and position of the upper body with the strength and the support of your center. Wow, that was a lot of words. All right, so sitting up nice and tall. Have your feet a comfortable distance away from you. And here too, you can use a block between the ankles or the knees. And in neutral, feel that your spine is stacked. You don't have any pull or push from the shoulders or the chest or the neck, but you're perfectly balanced like a well-constructed skyscraper. Right. So some of us are really short skyscrapers. So here we are. Extend the arms forward without disturbing the balance of the spine. Inhale. And on your exhale, begin to flex again through the lower spine using your core and your imprint muscles. Get a feeling of the spine stretching down under the hips, not dragging the neck or the shoulders, but releasing down and under into length, like you can add 2 or 3 more vertebrae to your height. Inhale, And then exhale and return. As the exhale travels upward through the crown, find length in this direction as well. So as you kind of floss through the hips and the spine, you're gaining increased length. Inhale here. Exhale, Kegel. Of course, that's core connection as you flex your low spine. Pelvis drawing away from the top of your thighs. The length of your spine feeding under your hips without dragging on the upper body or back. Inhale, pardon me, and exhale, roll back up. Do 2 more, please. We are trying to keep the very top part of the shoulders and head vertical. Right, a smooth shape through the curve of your spine between all points, top to bottom. Last one, that's it. And when you've come back up, lower your arms. Okay, extend your legs out in front of you and prepare for a complete roll down or roll up. It's funny, we often start this position at the top, but the exercise is called roll up. I'm not, yeah. So we'll call it roll down, especially since we'll be ending on the ground. Block between the feet is fine. We're all stretched out long. And we turn our small integrated movement into a large integrated movement. Sit up nice and tall and feel again that comfortable stack of all the elements of your spine, your posture. And as you extend the arms forward, don't let that weight disrupt your support. Inhale, Kegel, exhale, and begin to roll back, feeding the length of your spine under your hips without dragging on the neck or the chest. If you need another exhale at any point, go ahead and take another breath. Stretching out long on the ground, reach your arms back. Inhale, and then nod on the next breath in, and bend forward on your exhale. Inhale, stack yourself up, finding that perfectly balanced position, and then continue 3 more times. Good. Nice and supple in the shoulders as well as the rib cage. Feel the stretch of the legs assisting the stability of your center, that's your pelvis. 1 more, down and up. Yes. And then 1 more down. Right, the next time you roll down to the ground, stay there. And once you're on the ground, bring your arms to your sides. And bend both your knees. We're preparing for 1 leg circle, and I know that some of you like to use a flex band around the circling leg, so you're welcome to grab that. Right. 1 leg circle is done in a neutral spine. We've had lots of practice with that. When you've got your neutral spine and whatever prop you are or aren't going to use, exhale and bring 1 leg up to tabletop. At this point, you can loop the flex band around the bottom of the foot if that's what you're going to do. And then decide if you want to stretch either leg. In general, that bottom leg is going to need to slide away a little just to get out of the way. You might straighten it completely. Top leg you can leave bent for a shorter lever, or stretch it long for a longer lever, or find some happy medium in between. Just like hip release, we start with the inward circles. So prepare with an exhale, stable but not uncomfortable. And then on your inhale, take the lifted leg across the midline toward the other leg. Exhale, circle down. Sweep in a big arc out to the side, up and back to your starting place. We do 5. Unlike hip release, we'll do more repetitions. That's it, guys. Feel like your hip gets more spacious. So as you're circling the leg, feel like the femur really reaches out of it, and pelvic floor really supports, well, the pelvic structure. When you've done your 5th one, you can pause, reset the legs in the posture, and then continue in the opposite direction with the same leg. Inhaling away to the side and exhaling down around, crossing the midline slightly, bringing up to where you started from. 5 total. That's it. And when you've done your last one, you'll just bend your knee, bend the bottom knee as well. Take the flex band off the foot if you're using it, and have both feet on solid ground for just a moment. Have an inhale and an exhale there, aware of your posture, aware of your postural support. And then on the next breath out, lift the other leg to tabletop. All right, using your flex band if you like, and then, pardon me, find the position you want to work in, maybe sliding the bottom foot down a little or all the way, maybe extending the top leg. Feel that you're comfortably stable without any tightness in the neck or the shoulders. And when you're ready, we inhale and take the leg across the midline to the other side, down. Exhaling up and over the top. We're doing sets of 5 for one leg circle this morning. And a word about the shoulders if you're using a flex band. Don't hold on to your shoulders with your neck. Feel the relationship of the shoulder blades and collarbones to the rib cage, to the larger muscles below in your torso. After you've done your 5th one, let's reverse, please. Leg out to the side on your inhale. Circling down, around, crossing the midline, and coming up through the center. Anyway, if you're using a flex band, I'm not going to pretend that it doesn't involve any work through the arms or the shoulders. It certainly does, but relate that work to your core. That's it, guys. Soften the low back similarly. So we want the pelvis to be stable, but not because we're, tight as a drum through low back muscles. Feel core, feel pelvic floor, feel your abdominal support. If you wobble a little bit, no big deal. You just don't want to have, big seesaw through the pelvis side to side when you're finished with your 5th one. Bend the top knee, put the flex band off to the side. Good. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Right, make yourself comfortable. Now we're going to do a little rocking, not side to side, but a little rocking up and down, or forward and back. Now you can continue this rocking into a sitting up if you like, or if that doesn't feel so good, put your feet down, roll off onto one side, and then sit. However you need to get there, sit up. That's it, guys. And when you're sitting up, stretch your legs out in front. We're going to do a spine twist sitting up before we continue. And I'd like us to do it this morning with hands resting on the sternum. Okay. So we ordinarily have the arms in some bigger position. But I want you to see that point when you start to feel like you're really right through the neck and the chest, and stop short of it. Might not be a problem for you, but we're just going to do this little awareness exercise this morning. So sitting up nice and tall, maybe with a block between the feet, maybe even on a chair. We'll have a breath in to prepare. Take the inhale all the way down through the base of the pelvis. Allow the exhale to start to build upward as you twist just a little bit. Exhale rises further as you twist a little more. And as the exhale moves to completion, you finish the twist, all without clamping down on the neck or the chest. Inhale, return through center. And then other side. Begin your exhale, twisting a little bit. Exhale, twisting a little bit more. And exhale through the end of your twist without closing or tightening the chest. Inhale. Again, to each side. Yeah. A lot of the neck and the shoulder muscles have relationship to the chest too. So you can also probably detect what's going on upstream. When you've returned from your last one, lower your arms for a moment. We'll do 2 more across the sides, and this time we can do with arms open or maybe even with hands. I'll give you 3 choices: palms together, cactus arms, or arms wide. And we know what we're looking for. Take a breath in. It moves all the way down through the pelvis. Build your exhale upward, twisting a little bit. Continue to lift the exhale breath. Twist a little more. Twist to the end of your range as you find the end of your exhale. And inhale, release. Go to the other side. Yeah. We have 1 more repetition across the sides. And here too, even in twist, sorry, we are in balance. We're simply rotating through our axis. When you've completed your last one, lower your arms and bend your knees and round over them. Good. So we're going to roll back down to the mat, rolling like a ball style. If you're not on your mat, if you happen to be sitting on a chair or on a cushion, roll up and just remove it or return to your mat. And we'll turn this position into our rolling like a ball position. So one of the first things I'd like you to do from this rounded position is to kind of scoot your feet closer in towards you until you're rolled a little bit back off of the sitting bones, more onto the broad part of the glute muscles. And then on your inhale, unshrug the shoulders, begin to lift the chest. On your exhale, do your imprint or your half roll back, feeding length down through the lower spine and come on to the tips of your toes. All you have to do at this point is to lift 1 foot at a time. Hold on to the back of the thigh or the shin. And then finally, bend a little forward through the bottom of the ribs, bringing the top of the head and shoulders closer toward the thighs. I like to drop my feet down and hold on to my shins. You can do that as well. Can you use arm strength without gritting your teeth and using your neck? Prepare with an exhale. And on your inhale, roll back like a ball. You'll roll up on your exhale and continue. Do 3 more, please. Nice, you guys. Remembering to unshrug, work more from your core and less from your shoulder tops. And when you've done your last one and you've returned to your seated position, put your feet on the ground. Lift your chest. Hold on to the backs of your thighs and support yourself as you roll all the way down to the mat. Bring your feet closer to you, right, or a reasonable distance away. Prepare to return to tabletop by exhaling and imprinting once more. As you imprint here, make sure that you're feeding length through the bottom of the spine rather than creating drag on the back of the neck or even the bottom of the ribs. Exhale, lengthening through the crown as well as through the tail, and lift a foot at a time into tabletop. With the feet up, hold on to the back of your thighs. Open your chest, use your arm strength without gritting your teeth. Nod the head. We'll exhale and bend forward. Beginning single leg stretch here. On your exhale, pull one knee in and stretch the other leg long. Alternate sides. Opposite hand coming to the inside of the knee. Same sided hand coming toward the outside of the ankle. Keep going. 2 more times across the sides. Working the obliques, even in this parallel type of movement. When you're even across both sides, return to tabletop and exhale, lower your head, please. We will continue to work in tabletop, so if you'd prefer just to relax your legs in for a moment, you can. If you need to lower them down for a moment and catch your breath, that's also fine. The next thing we do is to work the obliques and twist. And so in our tabletop, once we get there, we're going to be twisting one side of the ribs toward the other side of the pelvis, upper abs on one side, pulling toward the midline and across, relating to the opposite side down deep in your center. Exhale, return to imprint or recreate connection with imprint muscles. And then exhale, legs in tabletop, one and then the other. Or maybe just pressing them there if you hug them in toward your chest. Hands behind the head this time. You're lying down. I'm sitting up so I can keep my eye on you. Yeah. We resume our pattern with the legs and add twist. Now, as you exhale and pull one knee in, you're going to twist across toward that side of the body. Inhale, return through center, both knees bent. Exhale, opposite leg extends. And return through center and keep that going. So pretty classic oblique exercise. That's it. Truly feel the stretch through the extended leg and feel that the stretch starts in your low belly. Continue to bend forward through the bottom of the ribs. We have one more to each side. And when you're even through both sides, exhale and lower your head. With the head on the ground, you can catch your breath for a moment. We are going to do scissors next. So again, another exercise that we do from tabletop. The next time you exhale, recreate your imprint connection and support. And then bring legs one at a time into tabletop. Pull onto the back of your thighs, point your feet. Nod your chin to your chest and release your head from your shoulder tops. Exhale, bend forward. When you're up, extend your legs upward. And we do a parallel motion here. Exhaling to pull one leg in and lower the other leg away. Inhale and exhale, switch. Keep that going, please. You might even add a little pulse in the stretch. Nothing violent, right? We don't want to hurt our hamstrings or our low back, but a little deepening. We got it. 2 more across the sides, and you can always do this with your head down if it's proving to be a problem for your neck. Yes, when you finish the last one, so both sides are even, keep the head lifted for a moment, and on your exhale, bend your knees as you hold the back of your legs. Then exhale, release the head down. And then finally exhale, place the feet one at a time on the floor. When your feet are on the floor, allow the pelvis to return to neutral. And maybe have about the outer hips width of space between your feet. Once you've got that, explore this, right? Doesn't feel good for everyone. Drop both knees to one side, maybe left or right, doesn't matter. And then drop knees to the other side. Right, we don't want to rush or push through this motion, but allow a little bit of internal, external rotation through the hips and let it carry the pelvis with it. It's a little bit of a twist for the waist, the low back. Return through center when you've kind of worked out all the kinks. Stretch out long, please. And roll over onto your belly. Have your hands under your forehead. And we're going to rest the upper body down as we extend the hips. So with as much sort of description I put into the legs last time, I'm even going to give you more. The legs are stretched. The bottom of the pelvis, the pubic bones are forward. And we want to use and activate the quads to really reach behind the knees as we support the kneecaps. We want the inner thighs to draw together, and as you pull the inner thighs together, stretch and point your toes away as you lift and support the exhale with pelvic floor. It should feel like your legs are stretching 2 inches longer than they ordinarily are. Keep that and have the tops of the feet and the toenails pressing down into the mat initially. Inhale here, and now exhale, stay, but feel the breath reach through the crown. We're set now. Take a breath. Now on the exhale, keeping the stretch and the length through the legs, lift them up both at the same time. Feel your hamstrings and your glutes working together right at the juncture of those muscle groups. Inhale, and then exhale, legs lower down. We repeat this 2 more times. Prepare with an inhale. Kegel, exhale, stretch the legs, keep them long and supported as you lift their weight from the ground. A lot of glutes, balance that with ab tone, and exhale, lower the legs. Have a breath in and out. Now the last time we lift the legs, we're going to take it into a flutter kick. I will give you the option of lifting the upper body as well and extending the arms into the full swimming exercise, but do the legs at least. All right, so take a breath. Exhale, stretch and lift the legs. Now, balancing on the front of the pelvis, if you're going to lift the upper body, exhale, reach through the crown and lift the chest, spreading the shoulders away from the midline at the top, gathering them at the bottom. Extend the arms past your ears if you're moving toward full swimming. Begin to alternately paddle the legs. And maybe add that cross crawl pattern through the arms if the shoulders are lifted from the mat. We do this for a minute, and I am timing you. Right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. Eventually, you can adjust the tempo of this so it resonates with you, literally. We have 22 more seconds. You don't have to go faster, but absolutely stretch further. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. If your arms are extended, bring them back to your forehead. Exhale, everything softens down to the mat. Really nice, you guys. Sit back into shell stretch, please. We breathe for half a minute here, and then I let you go. But for right here, right now, allow the breath to move through the back of your body, opening the spaces between the ribs, opening the spaces between all the vertebral joints. Feel the warmth of the exhale rise up through the curve of your spine, along the muscles of your back, the back of your neck. And have 2 more breaths in and out like that. When you've done that, inhale. And then exhale, roll yourself up. See the room you're in. Breathe in. Exhale and a sigh. And that's it this morning. Have a fantastic Monday.